There were no survivors aboard an Air Force Special Operations helicopter that crashed last night in Iraq. We told you that first on Special Report about that crash. It is the first deadly aviation accident for U.S. forces in Iraq or Syria since the battle against ISIS began in 2014. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin reports tonight from the Pentagon about a tough week for U.S. military aviation and the military.
The Air Force Pave Hawk helicopter crashed while on a routine mission ferrying personnel between bases in western Iraq. All 7 Americans on board were killed. Initial reports say the Special Operations helicopter hit a power line near the city of Al-Qaim along the Iraq-Syria border. It comes one day after a U.S. Navy F-18 Super Hornet crashed off Key West, flying on one engine as it approached the runway at low altitude. 1 mile out, the other engine failed. The jet rolled over as both aviators ejected, killing the pilot, Lieutenant Commander James Johnson, and his weapons systems officer, Lieutenant Caleb King, who played football at the Naval Academy and graduated in 2012. The jet came from a squadron that deployed last year aboard USS George H.W. Bush, carrying out airstrikes against ISIS. The Pentagon would not say whether the crash resulted from years of combat and budget cuts.
Readiness is absolutely at the center of what we're doing right now. I think pilots are going to be flying more, and training is going to pick up.
Today, only half the Navy's Super Hornet fleet can fly. President Trump spoke in front of an F-18 at a Boeing hangar in Missouri hours before the crash.
The F-18, one of my favorite planes. To me, it's a work of art.
The 2018 defense budget calls for $46.4 billion to rebuild U.S. military aviation, $11.7 billion to repair old jets, $32.5 billion to replace jets that can't be repaired, $2.2 billion to recruit new pilots and mechanics. Fox first reported the Navy grounded its fleet of training jets after instructor pilots complained of being poisoned in the cockpit. A year later, those oxygen problems have now spread to the Air Force, which grounded its fleet of T-6 trainers 2 months ago.
The decision that the Secretary and I made to ground the fleet, we just had too many incidents that caused our concern.
Fox News has highlighted the shortage of parts that forced airmen to cannibalize planes and search the desert boneyard for spare parts, a problem made worse by a shortage of mechanics.
We have fallen behind in supporting our men and women adequately. The bill that we're going to vote on next week, for all its flaws, begins to fix those problems.
Unless political bargaining gets in the way of the Pentagon getting the funds it says it needs to fix these problems. Brett?
Jennifer Griffin on top of the story from the beginning at the Pentagon. Jennifer, thank you.